Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryechu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vatvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Satchidanandarupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana pada baho Sahasranamnam stavanam prashastam Niruchyate janma jaradi shantyai. So namaste once again everyone. Suvarna bindu rakshobhyah sarvavagishwareshwarah Mahahrudo Mahagarto Mahabhuto Mahanidhi. We just chanted this sloka in the last class and we have not seen the meanings of this sloka. So this sloka has got 7 namas. And incidentally, we have just reached 800th nama. 800 is Suvarna Bindu. So 4/5 we have covered, 1/5 to go. Suvarna Binduhu Aksho.
Sorry, Guruji, I think your voice is breaking, I think, because probably the connection is not all right.
Yes, that is what looks to me also. Because it is coming and going. I don't know, I think we will have to, nothing can be done about it. We will have to continue with this and if there are difficulties in following, I would suggest that you recording will be okay because that is being done on my laptop. So you can just listen to the recording once if it is not clear.
Sure. Okay. Right.
So as I was saying, 800th nama is Swarna Binduhu. Then Akshobhyah Sarvabhagishwareshwarah, Mahahrudah, Mahagartah, Mahabhutah, and Mahanidhi. So 7 namas are there in this sloka. Suvarna Binduhu. Suvarna Binduhu has got 2 meanings Adi Shankara takes. One is the one who has got beautiful limbs. Then the next other meaning is the one who is the auspicious mantra Om. He says Bindavaha Avayavaha. Avayavaha means body parts, limbs. Suvarna Sadrisha Asyeti Suvarna Binduhu. Because the word Bindu has got another meaning of parts, body parts. Then another meaning is Shobanaha Varnaha Aksharam Binduscha Yasmin Mantre Tat Mantratma Va Suvarna Binduhu. So because his limbs, his bindus are shining like swarna, gold, He is Suvarna Bindu. One meaning. And those who are little bit familiar with Sanskrit language has got alphabets. It's called Varnamala. And O is a Varna. It's a vowel in the Sanskrit language, equivalent to a vowel. And sound, is a Anuswara, it is called. It's just the sound is not ma, it is And that Anuswara is normally represented by a dot on the top of the Varna or the Vyanjana. So when you add O, add a Anuswara to O, it becomes Om. O plus Om. And Om itself is a Suvarna Bindu. It's an auspicious syllable. It is derived from the verbal root avarakshane, means the one who protects. So being the name, the mantra of the Lord, Om protects and blesses. Hence Bhagavan, whose mantra has an auspicious Varna and Bindu, is Suvarna Bindu. And Om being his name, he is to be known through this mantra. That's why whenever we chant any archana we do, or this Sahasranama, Ashtotara, everything, before every nama we add Om. Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. The Om is to be added because the Om represents Bhagavan. It is the Suvarna Bindu. Every mantra is known by Om only. Bhagavan is known by Om because Om is Bhagavan. Then Akshobhyaha. Akshobhyaha means the undisturbed. Ragadibhi Shabdadi Vishayaischa Tridasharibhischa Na Shobhyate iti Akshobhyaha. Bhagavan is Akshobhya. Kshobhya means affliction, disturbance, mental disturbance. Shubh Dhatu. Bhagavan is Akshobhya because he is never afflicted, never disturbed by anything. And affliction need not necessarily mean some disease. Even our desires are afflictions. Raga, Dvesha, afflictions. All impurities, both at the level of the physical body and also at the emotional, mental level, are all afflictions. But Bhagavan is not afflicted by any of these things, including the objects of the senses like sound and so on. He is not afflicted. That is why he is Akshobhyaha. Then Sarvavagishwareshwaraha. Vagishwara is the Lord of speech. Sarvavagishwareshwara means the Lord of all lords of speech. Now, how many lords of speech are there? We will see. Sarvesham Vagishwarana Brahmadinamapi Ishwaraha Sarvavagishwareshwaraha. Brihaspati is called Vagishwara because he is the Lord of Vak. Knowledge, and he is the Guru of all Devatas, Brihaspati, including Indra. That's why in astrology, Jyotisha Shastra, Brihaspati is called Guru. Then Brahmaji and Agni are also Vagishwaras. Because the Vag Devata, the presiding deity for Vak, speech, is Agni. So that Agni becomes Devata for Vak. So Brahmaji and Agni are also Vagishwara because they bless the speech. Then Saraswati is also the deity of Vak. So we have got 3-4 different devatas who are devatas of Vak or speech or knowledge. But Bhagavan is the Ishvara, is the Lord of all these Vagishwaras. All these great deities of Vak, he is the overlord, he is the Lord of all of them. And it is Bhagavan who blesses all these Vagishwaras with their capacity, with the capacity to bless the speech and knowledge. And therefore Bhagavan is called Sarvavagishwareshwaraha, the Lord of all Vagishwaras. Then Mahahradaha. Hradaha means the lake, a big lake. So Mahahradaha means the one who is like a big lake. Avagahya sadanandam vishramya sukamasate yoginaha iti Mahahradaha iva Mahahradaha. So whenever these descriptions are made, Bhagavan is a big lake and all that, they are more for as though they are figurative speech. So we must understand. So he is Mahahrada because he is like a big lake, like the lake Mansarovar. What does that mean? It means he is the ocean of Ananda, reaching which people get themselves cooled from the heat of samsara. Like you take a dip in a cool lake. After you have a very tiresome walk or a trek, go and take a dip in a cool lake. You will know what happens. Your whole body relaxes and you go to sleep like you have never slept before. I've experienced this, that's why I'm telling you. It's such a wonderful experience. Absolute ananda, because you get deep sleep. There are no dreams, nothing. You are one with the nature. Absolute ananda you experience. And what is that lake for a spiritual seeker? Nothing but Bhagavan. If you want to get rid of all these heat of samsara, this afflictions of samsara, take a dip in that Mahahradaha, in the Bhagavan's Nama. Bring more and more Ishvara into your life. Your whole life, your mind, everything will cool down. Then Mahagartaha. We talked about lakes. So what about canyons? Gartaha means a canyon. The one who is like a great canyon. Mahagartavat asya maya mahati duratyaya iti Mahagartaha. So the word Garta in Sanskrit is something like a canyon. No, we don't have canyons in India, but in US it is a very common description of, between mountains there are crevices which are there, big large crevices, they are called canyon. And here Maya is compared to the canyon. Because canyons are very dark, deep, very difficult to cross them. You climb down one mountain and then climb up another mountain, climb down another mountain, like that, the canyons. Those who have seen that movie, There's a movie called Grand Canyon also, if I'm not wrong. But that Mechanus Gold, that movie was there. That shows all those canyons, and right. So his Maya is difficult to cross like a Grand Canyon, and he is Mahagarta. In the Gita, Bhagavan himself says, Mama Maya Duratyaya, my Maya is very difficult to cross. And it can be crossed only with the grace of Bhagavan. Of course, for those who are not prepared, it is very difficult to cross. But for those who surrender totally to the Lord, they will be able to cross it easily. The ocean or the canyon of samsara. And Puja Swamiji adds the word Garta has also got a meaning of a chariot. Therefore, Mahagarta means a Maharatha. So he is a Mahagarta as he has shown himself as a great charioteer in his Krishna Avatara. That way also we can understand this Nama Mahagarta. Then Mahabhutaha, the great being. Kalatrayan avachinna swarupatvat Mahabhutaha. We are all beings, isn't it? What do you mean by being a being? Means we are alive. The participle is, is in English, can be added to us. Everything that exists is a being. Bhu Dhatu. Bhu means Bhu Sattayam, existence. So, here the word Bhuta means anything that is. And generally, all the Bhutas, all those which exist, all those things which can be referred to as existings are subject to time, change, and death. Of course, the time element may differ. Some may just exist for a few seconds or few minutes, some days, years, some may even exist for thousands of years, like some trees and all. But Bhagavan is Paratma. He exists in all three periods of time, past, present, and future. And in all these three periods, he remains the same. There is no old age for him. There is no sickness for him. He does not undergo any change of whatsoever nature. He remains the same. Hence, he is Mahabhuta. We are all Bhutas. He is Mahabhuta. Then Mahanidhi, a big treasure house. Nidhi means a treasure. Sarva Bhutani Asmin Nidhiyante iti Nidhi. Mahamscha Asau Nidhischa iti Mahanidhi. So Nidhi means, as I said, a receptacle or a storehouse. Normally, it is referred to for storing wealth. It's a storehouse of wealth and gems and stones, precious things. Bhagavan is Mahanidhi, where everything, all the beings, all the elements, all the elementals, they are all treasured and kept. Because everything exists in Bhagavan. So he is the safekeeper of the entire world. So he is Mahanidhi. Then we go to the next sloka. Kumudaha kundara kundaha parjanyaf pavano nilaha amritasho mritavapuho sarvanya sarvato mukaha. So this nama, this sloka has got 10 namas. Kumudaha, kundaraha, kundaha, parjanyaha, pavanaha, anilaha, amritashaha, Amrita Vapuhu, Sarvanyaha, Sarvato Mukaha. 10 namas. Kumudaha. Mud Dhatu. Mud means to be happy. Kumudaha means the one who makes the earth happy. Dharanim Bharavataranam Kurvan Modayati iti Kumudaha. The word ku in Sanskrit language means the earth. Because earth has got, Prithvi has got another name ku. In his avatars, Bhagavan reduces the extra burden that the earth has to bear because of all the adharmas. And because of the relief that the earth gets by reinstallation of the dharma, it becomes very happy. Kum modayati makes the Bhuma Devi happy, and hence he is called Kumudaha. Bhagavan, by taking avatars, removes all the burden which the earth is now carrying with it. And this is, we can refer Puranas and all, which poetically talk of the earth being overburdened with adharma. Which adharma starts overpowering dharma. And it is not just dharma, adharma, even the Malthusian theory of population, if any of you are economic students, would know. When there is overpopulation of any species, we find that there is always a readjustment takes place. Nature adjusts itself. This is the poetic expression from a Puranic point of view, but economic theory has proved, Malthus has established that this happens through observing what has happened over a long period of time in various parts of the world. That's called Malthusian theory of population. So as Ishvara, Bhagavan is the one who makes the people on earth happy by bringing rains at the right time, by making the flowers beautiful, colorful, varied flowers blossom, by giving fruits from trees. He makes everyone, he makes the earth happy, he makes everyone else also happy. Therefore, he is Kumudha. He makes the flora, fauna, everything happy, and also makes the Mother Earth happy. Hence, he is Kumudaha. Kundaraha. Kunda is a name of a flower. It's a very nice flower. I have not seen it. Maybe I've seen it. I don't know its name as Kunda. Adi Shankara says, Kunda Pushpa Tulyani Shuddhani Falani Rati Dadati Lati Adatte Iti Kundaraha. Kum Dharam Dharaya Masa Iti Kundaraha. So the one who gives results which are pleasant like the Kunda flower. It's a very pleasant flower. Kunda is, as I said, is a fragrant white flower like the jasmine. It is like jasmine. So Bhagavan is Kundara because Rati, he gives the results of our prayerful karmas, the results that are pure and fragrant like the white Kunda flower. Or he is Kundara because Lati means he accepts, Adatte, accepts our offerings as pure Kunda. And he is also Kundara because he as though split the earth, in his Varaha Avatara while trying to kill Hiranyaksha. So Dhara means also to split. So Kundara means splitting the earth, which is what he did when Hiranyakashipa went and hid the bottom of the earth. Bhagavan broke open the earth. This is all Pauranic stories. Don't ask how it got joined again and all that. Pauranic stories. See, these Pauranic stories, we can understand them at different levels. As children, it is pure entertainment. As adults, it instills bhakti in us towards Bhagavan, whom we don't know. If you ask who is God, most of the people will not be able to relate to God or say who is God. They know that God is something which is very powerful, or someone who is very powerful, and that he protects all of us, and therefore we have to pray to God. This is the level at which adults normally, samsaris, they relate to God. But spiritual seekers, when they relate to God, when they read the Puranas, they can get all spiritual messages from the Puranas, because most of the expressions in the Puranas are all figurative. And whenever we come across figurative expressions, it's very difficult for us to understand what it means. Like I used to give the example of Ravana in Itihasa, in Ramayana, 10-headed Ravana. For children, the 10-head is a entertainment. For adults, the 10 heads represent an entity who is very cruel, who is a villain, to put it in one word. And that villain was destroyed by our Bhagavan Rama, so we pray to Rama. Since Rama has got the capability to destroy all evil things, if we pray to them, he will also protect us and destroy everything which inimical to us, our interests. But the same Ramayana, a spiritual seeker, will look at the 10 head of Ravana and interpret that as the avagunas, the impurities, the split personalities which each one of us carry with us. And Rama is nothing but Bhagavan Ishvara. We have to bring more Ishvara in our life in order to overcome our own personality disorders. So there's a different level. Whenever we read Itihasa, Purana and all that, we must know from what standpoint we are trying to understand this Purana. And as spiritual seekers, we have actually crossed over. We are outgrown our childhood. We are outgrown even our adulthood. Today, that bhakti from adulthood continues, but we start seeing more inner, deeper philosophical meaning in all these figurative expressions that we find in Itihasas and Puranas. And which expressions find manifestation in Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, or I should put it the other way around. The messages which are contained in the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita are conveyed in Puranas and Itihasas through all these kinds of figurative expressions, figurative stories, and figurative representations. Therefore, Kundara, Bhagavan who split the earth in the Varaha Avatara, while to locate Hiranyaksha to destroy him. Then Kundaha, I just know we saw Kundaraha. Kunda is a flower, as I said, a beautiful fragrant flower. So Kundaha means the one who is beautiful like Kunda flower. Kunda upama sundarangatva swachhataya spatika nirmalaha kundaha kum prithivim kashyapaya adat kum dhyati iti va kundaha. So first meaning is simple. He is beautiful and pure like Kunda flower, and so he is Kunda. Then Adi Shankara brings in another meaning from Parashurama Avatara. In the Parashurama Avatara, which is one of the Dashavataras of Bhagavan, he performed a great yaga and gave away the earth to sage Kashyapa. And also in Parashurama Avatara, because he as though destroyed the earth by destroying the Kshatriyas, he is known as Kundaha. Kundhyati iti Kundaha. Dhyati means to destroy. So these are the two meanings which for Kundaha Adi Shankara takes. Then Parjanyaha, the one who blesses like the clouds. Parjanyavat Adhyatmika Adita Apat Adhyatmikadi Tapatrayam Shamayatiti Sarvan Kaman Abhivarsatiti Va Parjanyaha. The word Parjanya means a rain-bearing cloud. So in the form of these clouds, Bhagavan blesses the earth with rains and cools the earth. Hence he is Parjanya. And Ishvara is also Parjanya as he rains on us the various desirable karma phalas, which are of the nature of sukha and fulfills the desires of the people. And then, just as the rains bring down the heat, so too Ishvara brings down the tapas meant the heat of our threefold affliction, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika afflictions. The afflictions we cause ourselves to us. The afflictions which are caused by devatas to us. And afflictions which are caused by other beings to us. And Bhagavan is the only recourse for us to bring down all these tapaha, all these afflictions. And then Pavanaha, the one who purifies. Smriti matrena punati iti Pavanaha. We have seen this in the beginning slokas, also in the dhyana slokas. This same idea, same concept. The word Pavanaha, there is another reading also Pavanaha, but meaning is the same. I mean, we can derive a meaning as Pavanaha also. So Bhagavan is Pavana because Punati, he purifies us. Smriti Matrena, the very act of remembering Bhagavan, taking his name, purifies us. What does that mean? By merely remembering Bhagavan, by understanding Bhagavan is everything, all our binding likes and desires, all our binding desires and dislikes, Raga Dvesha are neutralized. The fear of death and all other insecurities are removed. And that's why when we grow older and older, elderly people advise, just keep on taking Bhagavan Nama. Just say, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Vasudevaya. If nothing, just keep on repeating Om in your mind. All fears, all afflictions will drown in that Om. all insecurities will drown in that home. Because the person in whose awareness the presence of Ishvara is never lost, is never alienated from Ishvara. And that is the importance of prayer. That is why that's what happens in a prayer. Not only does a prayer bring Ishvara into one's awareness, but also gives a life that involves dharma, straightforwardness, honesty, compassion, reaching out activities, etc. One starts living for others rather than start living for oneself own, which is what he or she has been doing all along. And in all these activities, one is in harmony with Ishvara, and this harmony removes the impurities of Antakarana. There are a few experiments one can do, There are many people actually do this. When somebody is very much stressed, I've seen this. They go and garden the water the plants. Half an hour, 1 hour, they water the plants. And while watering the plants, they observe the plants minutely. Oh, this leaf, so tender, it's so nice to look at. Oh, there is a new bud which has come in this flower plant. This bud may tomorrow or day after it may bloom. It looks so beautiful. You lose everything else and focus on that, watering the plant and observing the plant. That itself removes all the impurities from your antakarana. Stress goes away. And when that happens, one is released from the hold of likes and dislikes, and he is purified. Constantly you do this, your mind keeps on getting purified, purified, purified. And what happens is that once you stop doing or indulging in activities which are raga dvesha driven, new impurities also get added. So old impurities get purified, no new impurities get added, and that is a very wonderful, your mind gets prepared for Jnana Yoga. All that you have got in your mind is just gratitude, 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 bhakti, bhakti, bhakti for Bhagavan. So that is how we have to understand these namas. Pavanaha. Then Anilaha, the unimpelled. Ilati preranam karoti iti ilaha. Tad rahitatvat anilaha. Then ilati swapiti iti agnya ilaha. Tad viparitaha anilaha. Nitya prabuddha swarupatvat iti va. Atava nilater gahanartat kap pratyayantat agahanaha anilaha bhaktebhyaha sulabhaha. So here, of course, Adi Shankara brings his a grammar also into this, which will be very difficult for people who are not familiar with Sanskrit to understand. So we will just see what exactly it is, not dwell upon it. So the word ila means the one who impels. Na ilaha anilaha. Bhagavan neither impels nor is impelled. Hence he is Anila. As Atma, he just blesses. That's all. Atma is one, and it is the same in everybody, and it has no thinking capacity. It does not think. Atma can only bless. because the mind where thinking takes place, because of which the mind becomes conscious and thinks. In the mind, there is the I thought. I thought and this thought, me and others. With reference to this thought, that is the thought which is referring to the others, the I thought becomes the owner of the thought. And that is called thinking. What is thinking is nothing but thought, which has got two components. One is I, the other is everything else. And the thought of everything else occurs where? In the mind. And the mind, what belongs to who? Belongs to us, to me. And the mind is what? It is blessed by the consciousness, so it becomes sentient. So we say, I am the thinker. But whether it is I thought or the other thought of other things, both thoughts are blessed by Atma. Now, Puja Swamiji gives a nice example. When we think of a mustard, the thought of the mustard occupies the mind, whole mind. But because the mustard is very small, we cannot say that only a small part of the mind is occupied. Similarly, the thought of the Milky Way, the galaxy, also occupies the whole mind. The thought of a chocolate occupies the whole mind. So whether it is mustard thought, galaxy thought, or chocolate thought, all these are nothing but consciousness, and without consciousness, there can be no thought. But Bhagavan, as Atma, is just a Sakshi, a witness for all these thoughts. He does not impel any of the thought or any of the action. Nor is Bhagavan impelled by anyone or anything. So as the one who does not impel and who does not get impelled, he is Anilaha. Then there is another meaning. A daydreamer or sleepwalker is also called Ila. One who is asleep or ignorant of his true nature is Ila. Bhagavan neither sleeps nor daydreams because he is Nitya Prabhuddha Swarupa. Nitya Prabhuddha Swarupa, ever awake. Aluptadrik, the one who never ceases to be awake and aware. In the form of consciousness. Consciousness which has no eyelids. It doesn't blink. So Bhagavan in the form of consciousness is ever awake. As the Atma, he is the Sakshi of the three states of experience. Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. And also as Bhagavan, he has no ignorance of himself. He is ever awake to his Swarupa. So Bhagavan is called Anila, the one who never sleeps, the one who is always aware of his Swarupa. Then there is a third meaning. Nila means that which is difficult to comprehend. And that's what Adi Shankara adds that meaning in the end. He says, Bhaktebhyaha Sulabhaha. Bhagavan is Anila for the people who are prepared, for the devotees, because they do not find any difficulty to understand and attain Bhagavan. His Sulabha is easy, is Anila, because they understand that he is ever present in their Atma. So that way also we can say Bhagavan is Anila, which is not difficult to comprehend, easy to understand, easy to relate to. But for the bhaktas, the people whose minds are prepared, for all others, he is Nilaha only. Then Amritashaha. Amritashaha means the enjoyer of immortality. Swarupamritam ashnati iti amritashaha. Matitam amritam suran payayitva swayam na ashnati iti va amritashaha. Amrita avinashwara phalatvat asha vancha asyeti va. Again, a very involved nama. Adi Shankara gives meanings from different angles. See, as human beings, as beings, as living beings, we are bothered daily by hunger and thirst. Chut vipasa. These are again two great afflictions of us, hunger and thirst. We cannot bear them. That's why I keep drinking water in between. So we have to eat and drink in order to allay them, in order to cool them down. Otherwise, that itself creates so much of heat, tension, stress in us. But what is the ashana or food for Bhagavan? The word ashana means food basically. What is the ashana for Bhagavan? Bhagavan eats amrita, nectar, as though, figurative again. His own Ananda Swarupa is amrita. He as though eats and drinks himself. Because if one takes amrita, there is no death. And here amrita refers to the nectar of knowledge. That's why jnanis, they are always drinking and eating their own swarupa. Drinking means always thinking about it. There is no other thought in their mind. Atma is not subject to time or mortality that we have seen, hence Amrita. Unlike us, Bhagavan's body does not think that I am a mortal. The I, the Swarupa I is not subject to time. All our fears, all our insecurities, they all come only from the notion that I am a mortal, which is centered on the I, the ego. Because the greatest fear all of us have got is the fear of death. People may say, I don't fear death and all that. You don't fear death, then go and stand in front of a running train. You have a fear, to stand in front of a running train. You have a fear of being bitten by a snake. If you start looking at it, we have got so many fears. Many people have a fear to cross the road because they are afraid that some vehicle may come and hit them and they will be dead. Fear of death. So all these fears, they emanate from the understanding or the misunderstanding, I should say, that I am a mortal. That's a confusion created. And this confusion is resolved when there is an understanding that Aham Brahmasmi. I am not bound by time. I am Atma, the consciousness, which is the very content of time, the content of now. Thus, Bhagavan is Amrita, not subject to time, and he eats Amrita, sustains on his own Swarupa, and hence he is Amritasha. And of course, it can also be looked upon, this Nama can be looked upon from the standpoint of the Puranas. We all know the story of Amrita Mathana, where Milky Ocean was churned and Amrita was obtained. And Bhagavan as Mohini helped the Devas to take the Amrita, and he also took it. Hence he is Amritasha, the one Ashnati, Amritam Ashnati. Then one last meaning Puja Swamiji adds, his Asha, desire is Amrita. He desires and hopes never die, never goes waste, and hence he is Amritasha. Of course, one can always ask, what are the desires of Bhagavan? Desire of Bhagavan is what? Some Dharma Samsthapan Artha. Samsthapanam, Dharma Samsthapanam. He wants to continuously re-establish Dharma on this earth. That is his desire. And this hope never dies. Even when Adharma has reached its peak, when everybody around has lost their hopes, Bhagavan never loses his hope. Bhagavan takes birth, makes sure that all the adharmis are taken care of. And Dharma is reestablished, and he protects the dharmis. So he is Amritasha. Then Amrita Vapuhu. Amrita Vapuhu means the body, form. So Amrita Vapuhu means the one whose form is immortal. Now you may ask me, just now we are all talking about formless Bhagavan. How form is immortal? Where is the form? There is a form. Because Nirguna Brahman is what we say is formless. Saguna Brahman is form. It has a form. Rama, Krishna, Devi, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Shiva, Vishnu, everybody we have got form. We have got the images of these Bhagavans or idols of this Bhagavan, even at our homes. Generation to generation to generation, the same photo will be there. No change in the photo. There is no change in the form. One day we can say that those forms of Bhagavan are immortal. People who see those photos will pass away. They are all mortals. They will pass away. But that photo will remain in that house ever. Unless, of course, some what they call, they get spoiled by all this white ants and all that. So Mritam Maranam Tad Rahitam Vapuhu Asyeti Amrita Vapuhu. So because we saw just now is Amritasha, the enjoyer of Amrita, the one who consumes Amrita, he becomes Amrita Vapuhu, the one whose Vapus, the body, is nectar, is timeless. And body here refers to Swarupa, the nature. So the Swarupa of Ishvara being Sachidananda is Amrita and has no time-bound existence. It is not subject to time. And because of that, he is Amrita Vapuhu, is Amritasha. So both ways we can look at it, as Nirguna Brahma, as Saguna Brahma also. He is Amrita Vapuhu. Then Sarvajnaha, the omniscient. Sarvam Janati iti Sarvajnaha. Very simple, straightforward. He is Sarvajna, the one who knows everything. He has no self-ignorance. Because the worst ignorance is self-ignorance. Once you know the self, everything is as though known. There is nothing else worthwhile knowing in this world other than one's own self, the real nature of one's self. And Bhagavan knows everything. He neither has any self-ignorance nor does he have any ignorance about any object. There is nothing unknown to him, either generally or in detail. We have already seen the word Sarvavit, the Nama Sarvavit in the last class or the previous one. Here he is called Sarvagnya. He is actually both Sarvagnya and Sarvavit. He knows everything in general and he knows everything in the minutest detail. Sarvagnya and Sarvavit. Then Sarvato Mukha. Sarvato Mukha means the one whose faces are everywhere. All over faces are there. Sarvataha Mukhani Asyeti Sarvato Mukha. Bhagavan is multi-faced. That is, any face that is there is the face of Bhagavan alone. Sahasra Shirisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. So he is Sahasra Mukha, countless faces, because every face is his face, and every face, all faces are all facing different direction. So Bhagavan is also facing different direction. He is Sarvato Mukha. With all these faces, he can see everywhere and everything. Bhagavan himself says in the Gita, Sarvato Kshishiro Mukham. I have eyes, heads, and faces everywhere. So this is Sarvato Mukha. Now the next Nama. Sulabha Sumrita Siddha Shatrujit Shatrutapanaha Nyagrodo Dumbaroshvattaha Chanurandra Nishudhanaha. Again, this has got 9 namas. Sulabha, Subrataha, Siddhaha, Shatrujit, Shatrutapanaha, Nyagrodaha, Udumbaraha, Ashwataha, Chanurandra Nishudhanaha. Sulabha. We have already seen this nama just now only. Sulabha, the one who is easily attainable. Patra pushpa phaladibihi bhakti matra samarpitaihi sukhena labhyate iti sulabha. So Bhagavan is Sulabha, one who is easily attainable without any effort. Why? Because he is Siddha, accomplished as Atma of oneself. Anything which is sadhya, to be accomplished, requires a lot of effort to accomplish that, and it is not easy to attain. But if it is already Siddha, existent, no effort is required to attain it. What is required is only knowing. So Bhagavan as Satchidananda Atma is you. And to know this, you don't need any effort. Once your mind is sufficiently purified, you don't need to put in any effort to know that I am Satchidananda Atma. All that effort, if at all we say, is one needs to be exposed to the teaching of Upanishads. There is no physical action involved because there is no will involved. Knowing is not doing, and doing is not knowing. Once the eyes are opened and the mind behind it, seeing takes place automatically, isn't it? We do not need to know a thing to see it. Anything, whether known or unknown, we open our eyes, mind is behind it, the image gets captured, the thought gets captured in the mind. There is no effort involved. Why? Because the will is suspended. That's an automatic thing. Only to avoid seeing, you have to use your will and take some action. So, when one is exposed to the teaching of the Shastra, since the Pramana is available, the Atma is also available, the knowledge takes place and it is Sulabha, it is easy. That's why I say, do you want to know Ishvara? Answer is, if the answer is yes, then you say all that is seen is nothing but Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. There is Ishvara alone. What is required is the fact that is to be recognized. So as Ishvara also, he is easy to know, and as Satchidananda Atma also, he is easily attained. No matter how we express it, all that he wants is only our total commitment and bhakti. If that is there, he is Sulabha. He easily reveals himself. Reveals means what? We recognize him in everything that is there in the world. Mahabharata, there is a sloka which says he is Sulabha, being satisfied with any leaf, flower, fruit, water, that can be patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says the same thing. All these things can be obtained without any expenditure, without any much effort, because Bhagavan is obtained through bhakti alone. The sloka in Bhagavad Gita is Patreshu, Pushpeshu, Phaleshu, Toyeshu, Krita Labhyeshu, Sadaiva Satsu, Bhaktei Kalabhye, Purushe Purane, Muktei Katamna Kriyate Prayatnaha. This is the sloka in the Bhagavad Gita. This is what Adi Shankara quotes. So we'll stop here and continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Guruji.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Yes, Arun
Thank you.
Kumarji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Krishnaji is there. He had sent me a message that he will, he may not attend, but good, he is there.
He's there, sir. I just wanted to know the three afflictions you had mentioned in between. I couldn't catch the Sanskrit word. Three afflictions you had mentioned. You had mentioned in Sanskrit.
Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika.
What does it mean, sir?
Adhyatmika means relating to the self. The affliction, Adhyatmika afflictions are those we bring upon ourselves on ourselves. Then Adi Daivika afflictions are those afflictions which the nature, the Deivam, the forces, cosmic powers, they afflict on us. Like coronavirus is Adi Daivika. Or no, coronavirus you can say Adi Bhautika also. Adi Devika affliction, like for example, fire is there, Agni Devata. You go and touch the fire, it will burn you. That is Adi Devika, or for matter of water could drown you. Because water is also Devata. So they are all Adi Devika afflictions. Then you have got Adi Bhautika afflictions, all the afflictions like coronavirus I said, which we are afflicted with everything, including our neighbors, are Adi Bhautika afflictions. So when you analyze the root cause of all our problems in our life, one of these three will be the root cause. And what is the solution for that to get rid of it? Bhagavan Ishvara is the only solution. Surrender to Ishvara, take Bhagavan's Nama, recognize, understand what Bhagavan is, bring more and more Ishvara into your life. All these afflictions will get neutralized. That is what that's it. Yeah, thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om, thank you. Any more questions?
Yes.
I'm not seeing any hand.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So in that Nama Amrita Saha,
Amrita Shah.
Amrita Saha, when you were explaining that, you were telling about the fear of death. And that fear is when you cross the road or when you see a serpent, when you this. But these fears are natural.
Yeah.
Now,
Natural for samsaris.
so, no, does it say that we have to overcome that?
Overcoming fear is what moksha is all about, isn't it? What is moksha? Liberation. Liberation is freedom from all these fears, all these notions, all these emotional turbulences which is caused by all these things around us. Freedom, liberation from all that. Because what is fear? Fear is an emotion, isn't it? Where does the fear arise? It arises in the mind. It's an emotion. So when you become emotionally mature, when you understand how the entire cosmos functioning is, how this law of karma is, how this cosmic order functions, you understand that, assimilate that, what it means. You are only talking about Bhagavan, you are talking about Bhagavan's order. Once you understand that all these fears, if we know that our ultimate destination is something and we are 100% sure of reaching it, will we have any concern if so many obstacles come in our way? We are sure, confident that I am going to reach my destination. So all these obstacles which come in the way, which may come in our way, we will overcome them. We will say, let it come. I will continue my journey because I am sure, I am confident, I have got faith that I will reach there. Similarly, when we know that Paramam Padam, our final destination is that Bhagavan alone, then all these fears which we may encounter during our day-to-day life, we will automatically overcome them. I mean, I'll give you a very practical example. Small children, if you ask them to go to the toilet at night, will they go? Why?
Yeah.
They have a fear, right? Oh, there is something there. It is very dark. And maybe somebody will catch hold of me and something like that, and all some bhutam, pishasham and all. The children have got these problems. All of us have experienced this. But today, if we want to go to toilet at night, will we have that fear? Wow, what has happened in between our childhood and now? Emotionally, we have matured. We know that there is nothing there. This was only a childhood fear in my mind. Now I don't have that fear because I understand that there is nobody there. It's all a mithya. So similarly, you just sort of extend this example to everything that comes in our mind as a fear, as an insecurity. When you know Bhagavan is the final security, then you won't be suffering any insecurity in your life. And what is fear but nothing but a manifestation of your insecurity only, isn't it? So that is why, the spiritual journey, it does not physically remove all these insecurities, but it makes you insulated against all insecurities. And what is the insulation tape? Bhagavan Nama, Bhagavan Bhakti, devotion to Bhagavan is the insulation tape. You will never ever get any shock because of all these afflictions. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika afflictions will not pass on any current or shock to you. That is what it is. It's just a change of your attitude, change of your emotional approach and maturity. Basically, it comes out of emotional maturity. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Very
Okay.
clear. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Any other questions?
Pranam Guruji, this is Lata.
Yes, Lataji. Oh,
Pranam
yes.
Guruji. Guruji, about the three afflictions that you just now answered the gentleman's question, I'm still not very clear about the adhyatmic afflictions.
Adhyatmic, what you inflict upon yourselves. You are supposed to do so many things the right way. You don't do it. That's an infliction you are affliction you are putting on yourself, isn't it?
Right. Okay.
You are not supposed to eat something. You eat it and develop a stomach ache.
All right. Yeah. Got it.
Adhyatmika.
Yes. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sometimes the simplest things evade your understanding.
The philosophy is very simple. If we relate
Yeah.
it to examples which are very simple our day-to-day life, that is what
Yes.
is important. Rather. It's not something
Yes.
very, rocket science or anything. What
No.
it says, what Shastra says, what is dharma? In fact, just to let you know, there are two words which are used: abhojyam and uchistam and abhojyam.
Uchishtam and abhojyam. Okay. Yeah.
Now, what do they mean? Uchistam means leftover of food. Abhojyam means that which should not be eaten.
Yeah.
So, when we do madhyana, afternoon prayers, we actually seek pardon. Yat uchistam abhojyam, which I have eaten, please protect me from their ill effects. If you, or those of you who know the madhyanam mantras, they will know uchistam abhojyam. That is why spiritual people do not eat food which is cooked in the morning at night. They insist on fresh food every time, even if it's a fruit. This has become a very normal. We ask ourselves, why so many illnesses, why so many problems, health problems all of us are facing. We do everything wrong in our life. And then we look for scapegoats to blame people for our afflictions. It's all adhyatmika. How many houses I can count on my fingers who cook 2 times a day? Today, the practice is morning one time you cook, eat both the times. There are further weekly, once you cook, put it in the fridge, eat the whole week. Yourself, your spouses, your children, everybody eats, poisoning their whole body system. Because normally any food which is cooked loses its nutrient value in 4 hours time. That is Shastra says that. Ayurveda says that. You must not eat any food which is cooked and which is after 4 hours. And the other one is, once you have eaten a food, you should not eat it again. Reason, is what? Very logical reason. Whenever we offer prasada or naivedyam to Bhagavan, will we offer any naivedyam to Bhagavan after eating it?
No.
No, In fact, we will offer naivedyam to Bhagavan and then only we will consume it, correct?
Yes.
Whenever we eat, we must bring in our mind the thought that this food which I am eating, I am offering to Bhagavan, who is within me. Om pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udhanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, brahmane swaha. We say that, right? While eating, all these mantras are chanted. Same mantras we chant when we are offering food to Bhagavan. So whenever we are eating, we must actually assume that the food that I am eating, I am actually offering it to Bhagavan because I am Bhagavan. So once I have offered a food to Bhagavan, the same food at night, can I offer it again to Bhagavan?
No.
That is the philosophy. That is the logic behind that philosophy, that you should not eat. It's a different matter. People will argue, I will put it in a fridge, it will not get spoiled, I will still eat it, I will heat it and eat it. All those arguments people have given me. Whenever in my own family, whenever I insist that I will not eat the leftover food, they will give me 100 arguments. I ask them this only one question. You all do Naivedyam. Will you do the same Naivedyam 10 times in a day to same Bhagavan? Once you have done a Naivedyam means you are offered it, matter over. I consider that whatever I eat, I am not eating for the sake of my body, mind, sense complex. It's an offering I am making to my Atma. And that is what I am doing. So if you can cook, please cook and give it to me. If you can't cook, I will myself cook and eat. But I will eat only things which are cooked immediate. I will not eat old stuff. Things which have been cooked in the morning or yesterday and all that. Those who want to do, those who don't have this kind of spiritual approach, free to do whatever I am not insisting everybody should do it. But whenever we are saying we want to increase our sattvic content of our nature and reduce the tamasic content and rajasic content, all these small things also matter. You have to pay attention to them. What type of food is sattvic? Bhagavan Krishna will say that. We will see all that in Bhagavad Gita. What are the qualities of sattvic food? What is a rajasic food? What is a tamasic food? He will talk about them. And why does he talk? He says that if you are a spiritual seeker, stick to sattvic food. That is what he will say. So there is so much, we have to take a very, very sort of a, I would say, macro view of all these things and then blow it down to micro view. Then we will be able to lead spiritual life in the true sense of the term.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you very much for explaining that. Thank you.
Yes.
Guruji, sorry, I wanted to ask this. You had mentioned Sarva Vakicha as Lord of Speech.
Sarva Vagishwareshwaraha.
So he is the overlord. Guruji, in what you mentioned, Agni is
Agni is one of the Lord of speech.
Okay.
Then Brihaspati, Saraswati, all these are all lords of speeches. And Bhagavan is Lord of all these lords. Sarva
So in the Panchikaran also, the cause for the Indriyam will be Agni.
For Vak Devata Agni. Yes, correct. Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Catch up next week. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.